Okay, so another little vlog. We had the eclipse last night. Did try filming it, but never really come out the way I wanted it. I thought it was going to be, a proper full eclipse, but obviously it wasn't. Good boy. So on the DJI Nano this morning, so things look a little bit different. That's why I've got it attached to the peak of my baseball cap. So when I do these videos, I try to always be in a positive place. And like I say, you can do to get things off your mind. And you can vlog about stuff and, express how you feel a little bit more. I don't know, just today, I just feel a little bit lower. Not a normal positive sort of frame of mind. And it does happen now again. We can't be positive all the time. But I've got nothing which is really worrying me or anything which is really pissing me off or anything like that. I just feel a little bit, I suppose you could say a little bit depressed, really. And I have suffered with depression in the past. Come on, Pagan. Like I say, I've suffered with depression in the past. I have little bouts of it now and then. And, people can have depression. And when they have a little bout of it, it sort of manifests in different ways. I certainly find that the case with me. I suppose really. Come here. Hey, will you stop pulling? I suppose, like I say, really what made. Sometimes I just feel sad. Pagan! Or I feel a bit lonely. I mean, being on your own does get you a bit. I don't really go out anywhere. I don't really get to meet people. I mean, yes, you could say, well, that's your fault, and yes, it is. I'm just not one of those people who does socialise much. And I've always been that way. I'm the sort of person who likes to keep himself to himself. But it has its drawbacks at times. In one part of me, I like to be alone. I've only got myself and my animals to look after. But another part of me doesn't like being alone. And sometimes you just get a little bit fed up. That's how I'm sort of feeling right now, I suppose. It's one of those, I look at it, and I think, yes, I've done a lot in my life. I've had a good life. And I've done a lot with it. I've seen a lot of things that other people won't probably ever see. I've experienced a lot. Good and bad. You know, I've obviously been in the military. Saw a lot there. Again, good times and bad times. Doing the close protection. Again, you know, seen some bad stuff, some good stuff. I've had the joy of having kids. And I've had the devastation of losing a child. Go on, go on. I've had times when I've had money. I've had times when I've had plenty of money in my bank account, and I've had times or a time when I was bankrupt. Yeah, I always see the life experiences. Some are good, some are bad. It's just the way life goes. You know, I've had girlfriends, been married. You know, I've been at the peak of my fitness, maintained it for quite a long time. And then felt debilities. You know, like now with the ataxia, I can't do a lot. Well, I still can, but it's with its limitations. I don't know, I feel a sort of disappointment in my life right now because, you know, I have gone through a lot. I've experienced life. And whatever experiences, I've come out the other side and I felt, you know, that it was what it is. It's just an experience. But now I just feel like, having gone through all that, I'm now just getting an oldish man, living on his own, with his dog, with his cat. Can spend days on end, not even speaking to anybody. Apart from the vlogs, which I think keeps me somewhat sane. And I don't know, it's just this feeling of, is this going to be it? Is this the grand finale of it all? You know, I went through a lot in life to just end up like this. And I suppose that's what's getting me down, if I'm to be honest. You know, I realise the fact, go on Peggy, I've got illnesses, you know, condition, which is only going to get worse over time. But then when I look at my life, I'm thinking, am I in my final decade now of life? And I just feel a bit sad and a bit lonely about that. Just to think about that. And it concerns me. That I'm going to die alone. Nobody's going to know. And that sounds a bit morbid and a bit, how should we put it, depressing, but it's just how I feel at the moment. So, you know, I'm using my vlog just to express my thoughts, get things out there, get things in the open. So hopefully I can step up out of it. You know, I don't watch anything which depresses you on YouTube or anything like that anymore. But then see some of the YouTubers, the younger ones, you know, they're getting out and doing stuff. Stuff which I would have done when I was younger. They're living their lives. And it's not a jealousy of that or anything. It's just a realisation that time has been and has gone for me. In fact, I'm alone. You know, I'm not allowed to drive because of my condition, which restricts me to getting out, to going places. You know, it would have been nice to spend last decade or so being just able to get in the car and drive to Wales. You know, to my favourite place in Wales, like just outside Barmouth. You know, to go camping with pagan, places like that. And yeah, I would meet other people. You know, it would be nice. But I think now it's just the realisation it's not going to happen. And it does make you feel sad. And again, I know this sounds depressing, but you look at it and think, well, what have I got in life? What have I got to look forward to? You know, we're coming towards the back end of summer now. We've had a good summer. You know, we've had 5 heat waves. Yeah, it might be a bit hot at times, but we've had a good summer. But you know, I've not been able to really take major advantage of that. You know, go to the seaside or something. Come on, good boy. I know the longer nights are coming in. I know with that comes even more loneliness. You know, when everything's dark for 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's not light till about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. You know, it's a long hours. Just be sat in a room. Well, I guess I'm a little bit afraid of that. I don't know. Bit of a depressing vlog, this one. Really, but I mean, that's what I do. I vlog about how I feel. And it's not always going to be positive stuff. I'll get home, have a cup of coffee, And I'll be fine. When I Peggy, eh? Got you, got Willow. The thing is, when you do feel depressed, it affects your motivation as well. And everything else, and everything seems to become an effort to do. I have to be honest. I slept out with Pagan in the backyard with a nightcap. But it was an effort to do that. It's just nice to have something to look forward to. You know, if I had a holiday or something coming up, or I was going somewhere, you know, just to look forward to it. It's just that when you're on your own, you don't do that. I'm not saying you can't, but it's one of those things, especially if you've got limitations. Come on. Pagan, this way. Pagan! Right, slow down. Especially if you've got limitations like I have. Everything becomes seem like it's impossible to do. And I know that might be negative thinking. You can't help it. I know. Obviously looking after my animals. Lumped a bit, and I wouldn't change anything about it. But that can limit what you do. You know, I can't just say, all right, get on a bus. Let's go somewhere. Because I got Pagan, I got Willow. The same as I can't just decide to get a train somewhere. I suppose you could say, well, there's part of your issue. But then again, I mean, I wouldn't be doing it all the time. And for the joy they bring me, the rest of the time, you know, it's not even a compromise. You know, I love my animals. And they do bring me comfort. They do bring me joy. You know, there's no way I'd be without them. You know, they're non-judgmental. They just love you unconditionally. You know, and you can't beat that. You know, I was looking at how wrong the City Dogs home yesterday. And I'm still in two minds whether I should get another little dog. Something like a Frenchie, Jack Russell, or something that size. You know, it's not a friend for Pagan. I was thinking, yes, I would love another little dog. You know, I've got all the time in the world to give it. But am I just doing that as like a quick temporary fix to how I feel? I mean, I wouldn't get a dog based on that, because it is a lifetime's commitment. But it does make you think. And I've been thinking about that for quite a while now. You know, should I get a little friend? I know Pagan's got Willow, and they get on well. But Willow's a cat. He probably sleeps most of the day. I know Pagan loves other dogs. I'm just thinking a little friend would be ideal for him. And part of the reason behind that is because I know what it's like to be alone. I don't want him to feel like that. So I just don't know. Come on. But like I say, I'll get home, I'll have a coffee, and hopefully I get out this way of thinking. Until I'm finished, I'm back to myself in a more positive way. So I'm sorry if this video's been a bit depressing. Wasn't intended to be, but you know, I'm vlogging my life. And this is how I feel. So I want to thank you for watching. And I'll catch up with you later. Bye for now. Bye.